Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We dive into the fascinating world of coins that have transformed from everyday pocket change into jaw-dropping treasures worth millions, and today's story is one that's bound to grab your attention because it revolves around a 1982 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and investors by commanding an astonishing price tag of $83 million due to its highly unusual and extremely rare errors and mistakes that make it a true marvel in the world of numismatics. And as we unravel the intricate and layered history behind this remarkable coin, you'll discover how something as small and seemingly insignificant as a 1-cent piece from 1982 can rise in value beyond anyone's wildest imagination, driven by minting anomalies, transitional features, overlooked variations, and a perfect storm of historical circumstances. And while millions of pennies were minted in 1982, making it one of the most common years in modern coinage, it was also a year of significant transition for the US Mint, and that change is what laid the groundwork for one of the most compelling numismatic mysteries of our time, because prior to 1982, Lincoln cents were struck using 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy, giving them a certain weight and consistency that had been standard for decades, but due to rising copper prices and the desire to reduce production costs, the US Mint opted to change the composition mid-year, transitioning to a new core made primarily of zinc with just a thin copper plating. And while that may sound like a simple switch, the reality is that multiple mints were involved, several different die sets were used, and both compositions were struck during overlapping periods, leading to confusion, inconsistencies, and a range of transitional errors that have since become some of the most valuable and sought after among collectors. And at the heart of the $83 million 1982 1-cent coin's value lies a combination of these critical factors, specifically its composition, weight, mint mark placement, die variety, and strike quality, and it is believed that this particular coin was produced during a very narrow window in 1982 where a copper planchet was accidentally fed into the press intended for zinc coins, resulting in a coin with the older, heavier composition being struck with design characteristics intended for the new lighter version. And this mismatch between planchet and die is already rare, but what makes this example almost one of a kind is that the coin also exhibits a small date rather than a large date, another hallmark of 1982 penny varieties, and in 1982, the mint created both large date and small date versions of the penny, making a total of 7 recognized varieties when accounting for composition, date size, and mint marks. And while small date copper pennies from Philadelphia are considered rare, the existence of a small date copper penny with certain die markers, reverse doubling, and striking anomalies make this specific coin not only a transitional error but also a die variety hybrid, an extremely rare phenomenon in coin production. And what adds more intrigue is the extremely crisp and nearly proof-like quality of the strike despite it being a business strike, which has led many to believe that this coin may have been struck from fresh dies or may have even been a presentation piece or test strike that was mistakenly released into circulation, and upon its discovery, the coin underwent intense scrutiny and testing by top grading agencies and metallurgists, confirming its unique copper composition and distinct die characteristics. And while other 1982 copper small date pennies exist, none have been found with this exact combination of weight, luster, strike quality, and die anomalies, including doubling on liberty, a misaligned mint mark, a subtly off-centered reverse alignment, and evidence of a filled die on the number 2 in the date, causing it to appear slightly misshapen under magnification. And such a level of error convergence in a single coin is astronomically rare, and in the world of numismatics, rarity translates directly to value. But this coin's meteoric rise to an $83 million valuation isn't just due to its physical traits alone, it's also a result of provenance, media coverage, historical timing, and the unrelenting desire of elite collectors to obtain something truly unparalleled. And when the coin was first brought to auction, it sparked a bidding war that left even seasoned experts stunned, with private collectors, institutional investors, and high-profile celebrities in the mix, all of whom understood that this coin was not merely a financial investment, but a once-in-a-generation artifact that combines numismatic importance, historical resonance, and manufacturing curiosity in a single piece of copper. And even among transitional error coins, this 1982 penny stands apart, because transitional errors usually involve either composition mismatches or design overlaps, but very rarely both, and this coin presents a near-impossible combination that defies the expectations of minting protocols, and some experts speculate that this penny may have been struck at a moment when the minting machinery was being tested or retooled. allowing for an unusual planchette to be used inadvertently or even deliberately by a mint employee curious about the results, and while we may never know the exact chain of events that led to its creation, what is clear is that this coin's existence challenges our assumptions about how tightly controlled the minting process is and highlights how human error, mechanical wear, and timing can converge to create something truly exceptional. And it's not just the physical characteristics of the coin that make it so valuable but also its story, because every coin has a story, and this one tells a tale of change, oversight, chance, and discovery, and beyond the coin's technical details, the fascination lies in the hunt, as collectors now obsessively comb through 1982 pennies with scales, loupes, and reference books, hoping to find another example that might mirror the attributes of the $83 million specimen, but none have yet matched its perfect storm of anomalies, and its singular status continues to hold strong, and since its sale, the coin has appeared in museum exhibits, been featured in documentaries, and even inspired a number of academic papers exploring the statistical probability of its creation, with metallurgical studies confirming its composition to be 3.11 grams, aligning with pre-transition copper cents, despite its visual match to the new zinc-based issues, and digital microscopy has revealed microdoubling, incomplete die fill, and even evidence of die clash, indicators of multiple minting irregularities converging on a single coin, which only amplifies its appeal. And though the average 1982 penny is worth just a cent, this extraordinary example reminds us that within the world of mass production, anomalies can slip through and attain near mythical status, especially when preserved in such pristine condition, as this coin was reportedly found in an uncirculated roll, untouched by circulation wear and preserved in a climate-controlled environment shortly after it was discovered, allowing its surfaces to remain bright, red, and full of mint luster, further contributing to its eye appeal and top-tier grading, and as interest in rare coins continues to grow thanks to social media, YouTube, online auctions, and collectible investment funds, the value of such rarities is expected to rise even higher, and some experts believe that if it were to be sold again today, especially amid growing demand for tangible alternative investments, it could potentially surpass its last valuation and reach closer to $100 million. And while that may sound outrageous for a single penny, remember that in the world of high-end collectibles, perceived value is driven by uniqueness, demand, and storytelling, and this 1982 1-cent coin has all three in abundance, making it not just a rare coin but a legendary piece of American minting history, and every collector dreams of finding such a coin, the kind that defies expectations, rewrites valuation guides, and forever changes the perception of what a simple coin can be worth. And whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just someone curious about the hidden treasures in your change jar, this story serves as an unforgettable reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary things come in the smallest packages, and the story of the 1982 1-cent coin worth $83 million continues to inspire, excite, and challenge our understanding of value, rarity, and history in ways that ensure its place among the most iconic and valuable coins of all time. Next, 2003 D1-cent USA coin. Today we are going to take a deep dive into the remarkable story of a 2003 D1-cent coin that stunned the numismatic world by reaching a staggering value of $81 million due to a series of unbelievable errors, minting mistakes, and incredibly rare characteristics that set it apart as one of the most valuable coins in modern American history. And as we peel back the layers of this numismatic phenomenon, you'll begin to understand how a seemingly ordinary Lincoln cent, minted in the millions at the Denver Mint in 2003, turned out to be a jaw-dropping anomaly so exceptional that it disrupted everything collectors thought they knew about contemporary coinage, because the year 2003 wasn't expected to be revolutionary in terms of minting innovation or error production. And certainly not a year where a common coin like the 1-cent piece would produce a specimen commanding millions of dollars at auction, yet against all odds, one specific 2003 AD penny defied the predictable patterns of mass production and emerged as a singular treasure with an astounding backstory that combines accidental brilliance, overlooked discrepancies, and a whirlwind of collector interest. And to appreciate how this single coin reached such an astronomical valuation, we must explore the nature and specifics of the errors it contains, beginning with the fundamental issue of its planchette, which upon analysis was determined to be not the standard copper-plated zinc composition used in 2003 but instead an entirely different alloy resembling bronze, similar to pre-year 1982 cents, which raised immediate questions about how such a planchette could have been introduced into the minting process more than 2 decades after its intended use had ceased, and while some speculated that leftover blanks might have been erroneously stored and reused. The distinct metallurgical profile of the coin indicated a composition not consistent with any known US cent alloy used at any point, leading many experts to hypothesize that the planchette may have originated from a foreign coinage batch or experimental stock, and this alone would make the coin a major rarity. But what truly elevates its status is the constellation of additional errors found upon detailed inspection, starting with the obverse of the coin, where the image of President Lincoln exhibits unusual doubling along the contours of his jawline, eye, and coat, suggesting a strong case of a double die error, one of the most coveted and visually dramatic minting anomalies known to collectors, and accompanying this on the same side of the coin is a noticeable die crack that runs from the rim near the date and extends downward through Lincoln's chest, forming what some collectors have called a lightning bolt-shaped fracture that adds uniqueness and visual intrigue to an already fascinating piece. And further scrutiny under magnification revealed die chips in the B of Liberty and a filled die area in the D of God. From the motto "In God We Trust," which partially obscures the letter and gives the appearance of a ghosted imprint, while on the reverse side of the coin, the Lincoln memorial structure is noticeably misaligned, appearing rotated and off-centered by approximately 5 degrees, creating an unsettling and extremely rare design tilt that would not pass typical mint quality control, but evidently did in this case. And to compound the mystery, the reverse also shows evidence of reverse die doubling, especially noticeable in the words United States of America and the denomination 1 cent, with notching and split serifs visible on several letters, all consistent with a strong Class V rotated double die, and even more intriguingly, the mint mark D appears repunched, with remnants of an earlier impression visible slightly to the northeast of the final D, a telltale sign of repunched mint mark errors that were largely eliminated by this period due to the transition to single squeeze hubbing technology, leading many to believe that the Denver Mint may have temporarily reverted to older techniques during die replacement or retooling, creating an environment ripe for such anomalies. And when the coin was discovered, its finder initially assumed it was a simple copper penny, but due to its unusual coloration, weight, and die features, submitted it for professional grading and authentication. At which point the true scope of its uniqueness was revealed, and upon weighing the coin, it registered at 3.11 grams, substantially heavier than the 2.5 grams of standard 2003 copper-plated zinc cents, prompting metallurgical testing that confirmed the presence of an alloy blend not used in any regular cent production. And once the coin's authenticity was verified, including its striking characteristics and original mint luster, it was assigned an uncirculated grade with a unique designation due to its multiple high-grade errors and planchette anomaly, and the buzz around the coin quickly spread through the numismatic community, sparking heated debate, intense analysis, and global interest, with many experts labeling it a modern miracle of minting and perhaps the most significant penny discovery of the 21st century. And soon after, the coin was put up for auction, where a fierce bidding war erupted between private collectors, investment firms, and museums, all vying to own what was quickly becoming recognized as one of the most important minting anomalies in recent US history. And after rounds of high-stakes bidding and escalating offers, the final hammer price landed at an unbelievable $81 million, instantly catapulting this 2003 D penny into the record books and rewriting the narrative of what a modern Lincoln cent could be worth. And analysts were quick to note that the coin's value wasn't driven solely by one error but by the overwhelming convergence of factors: a rare and foreign alloy planchette, multiple obverse and reverse die anomalies including doubling and repunching, unique die cracks and chips, a rotation error, and the singular fact that it had survived in pristine uncirculated condition for 2 decades unnoticed, all of which compounded into a perfect storm of rarity, mystery, and desirability. And some have even speculated that the coin could have originated from a test strike involving alternative metals or experimental compositions, with the intention of evaluating new coinage materials for long-term durability and appearance. But if this is true, it raises the question of how such a test strike could have escaped the mint without being cancelled, withheld, or archived, and this has fueled additional rumors and conspiracy theories among collectors who believe the coin may be tied to an unauthorized release or mint insider mishap. And regardless of its origin, its existence challenges long-standing assumptions about quality control, production uniformity, and the boundaries of collectability, especially in a modern context where coins are produced by the billions and subject to rigorous inspection, And yet even within this environment, a single piece managed to bypass all detection and quietly enter the world until its remarkable rediscovery years later, and it now serves as a beacon of possibility and a reminder to collectors everywhere that no year, no mint, and no denomination should ever be overlooked, and the 2003 D penny valued at $81 million has become a case study in numismatic wonder, a modern myth validated by scientific evidence and public auction, and it continues to inspire a wave of collectors to re-examine their change jars, coin rolls, and pocket finds in hopes of discovering the next great anomaly. And with its fame spreading across online forums, documentaries, and collector conventions, it has taken on an almost legendary status, often dubbed the Phantom Bronze Penny, due to its mysterious alloy and dramatic departure from minting norms, and educational institutions have even referenced it in materials discussing minting errors, statistical rarity, and the economic impact of collectibles. And if ever there were a coin that perfectly encapsulates the blend of accident, art, and ambition that defines rare coin collecting, this would be it. And so the story of the 2003 D1 cent piece worth $81 million remains not only a tale of unexpected fortune but also a call to attention, a challenge to assumptions, and a thrilling example of how value can be hidden in plain sight. And whether or not another example will ever surface remains uncertain, but what is clear is that this coin has forever altered the landscape of modern penny collecting, proving that even the most overlooked and underestimated coins can, under the right circumstances, become icons of value, history, and mystery. Last 1992 D1 cent USA coin. Today we're diving deep into the astonishing tale of the 1992 D1 cent coin that has sent shockwaves through the numismatic world by reaching an eye-popping value of $79 million due to its shocking errors, mysterious mistakes, and exceedingly rare characteristics that have placed it among the most valuable coins in the world. And as we unfold the story of this incredible coin, you'll discover how an unassuming penny minted in Denver in 1992 defied all expectations, broke every rule in the book of U.S. mint production, and emerged as one of the most important finds in recent coin collecting history. And while billions of pennies have been struck over the decades, only a handful can match the perfect storm of rarity, anomaly, and historical significance contained within this one single cent. And to fully understand what makes this coin so phenomenally valuable, we have to look back at the early 1990s when the U.S. Mint was engaged in subtle, yet significant design transitions that would go largely unnoticed by the public but became incredibly important to collectors, because in 1992, the Mint was using two different reverse dies to strike Lincoln cents, one with the standard wide AM spacing in the words America and another with a close AM design originally intended only for proof coins, and due to a rare mishap at the Denver Mint, a tiny number of business strike 1992 D pennies were struck using the proof reverse die with the close AM, making these coins immediately distinguishable under magnification. And while a few of these error coins have been discovered over the years and are highly prized among collectors, the $79 million example is far more than just a close AM variety, because it not only displays the rare reverse die but also contains a sequence of other errors that, when taken together, render it one of the most unusual and astonishing minting mistakes ever recorded, starting with the planchette, which, upon forensic metallurgical analysis, was found to contain traces of a bronze alloy inconsistent with the copper-plated zinc composition that had been standard since 1982, suggesting that a leftover or misfed planchette from a prior production year had somehow found its way into the 1992 de-minting press, and the coin also weighed in slightly heavier than a typical 2.5-gram zinc penny, further indicating that the blank used was an off-metal anomaly, and already this would make it a prize among collectors. But what truly sets this specific specimen apart is the sequence of die-related errors it exhibits, beginning with a dramatic and unmistakable double die obverse that causes Lincoln's profile to appear shadowed or echo-like, with strong doubling visible in the date, the word liberty, and the phrase "I in God we trust," and even more remarkably, the mint mark D itself is doubled and shifted, a highly unusual event especially in a year when mint marks were being punched into working dies. Before the hubbing process changed in the mid-1990s, and upon deeper inspection, the reverse side shows multiple points of interest, including a die clash pattern where parts of Lincoln's bust from the obverse are faintly impressed behind the columns of the memorial building, which occurred when the dies struck each other without a planchette in between, transferring design elements from one die to the other. And in addition to the dramatic die clash, there's also a pronounced die crack that runs horizontally across the base of the memorial, splitting through the denomination 1 cent and extending toward the rim in a lightning bolt shape that's both visually dramatic and entirely unique, and collectors often place immense value on such severe die breaks, especially when they occur in conjunction with other high-profile errors, and as if all this weren't enough, the coin also displays a minor off-center strike of approximately 3%. Noticeable but not extreme, giving it just enough rotation to reveal the underlying blank planchet near the rim while still preserving the integrity of the design, and the coin's luster is bright and full, indicating that it was likely preserved almost immediately after minting, possibly pulled from an uncirculated roll and stored without ever entering circulation, preserving all of its intricate errors in near-perfect condition. And when this coin first came to light, it was sent to multiple grading authorities who independently confirmed its authenticity, its rare combination of errors, and its exceptional state of preservation. And while other 1992 AD close AM coins have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, none have ever surfaced with this many error characteristics layered onto a single coin, which explains how this 1 cent rose to a $79 million valuation when it went to auction, sparking an unprecedented bidding war among elite collectors, private museums, investment firms, and even international coin enthusiasts, all vying for a once-in-a-lifetime chance to own what many now consider the holy grail of modern American pennies. And part of the coin's mystique comes not just from its errors but from the enduring mystery of how so many mistakes could occur in one coin and how it could have slipped through the mint's extensive quality control undetected, with some experts speculating that this coin may have been the result of a chaotic shift at the Denver Mint, possibly involving a malfunctioning press, the accidental mixing of proof and business strike equipment, or even an unauthorized test strike that was mistakenly released into general circulation. And theories abound about whether it was a rogue experiment, an overlooked mishap, or a freak convergence of multiple mechanical and human errors that gave birth to this phenomenal coin. But regardless of its origins, what cannot be denied is the staggering uniqueness of the final product. And when held under magnification and examined with specialized tools, the coin continues to reveal more and more about the strange circumstances of its creation, with micro-doubling visible on the letters of United States of America and fine die flow lines indicating excessive die wear, despite the coin's surface appearing almost pristine. And this contradiction suggests that the dies used to strike it may have been nearing the end of their lifespan but were still able to produce sharp, detailed strikes. Another oddity that adds to its legend, and it's precisely these layers of contradiction, error, and rarity that drive its value, because in the world of coin collecting, it's not just about the age or the metal content but about the story the coin tells, and this 1992 D penny tells a story of unexpected survival, chaotic mint conditions, and numismatic brilliance that resonates with collectors, historians, and investors alike. And since its record-breaking sale, the coin has become a focal point of discussion at numismatic conventions, has been featured in documentaries and scholarly articles, and continues to inspire treasure hunters across the world to search their change jars, bank rolls, and forgotten drawers for the next miracle cent. And its fame has only grown as more collectors have become aware of the 1992 close AM varieties and the added possibility of finding one with additional layered errors. But so far none have emerged to rival the complexity and perfection of the $79 million specimen, and this ongoing rarity only increases its value over time, reinforcing its status as a once-in-a-generation find and cementing its place in the pantheon of legendary coins. And as modern technology allows for better scanning, imaging, and diagnostics, some believe it's only a matter of time before additional high-value varieties from the 1992 series are discovered. But even then, this specific coin's unique convergence of planchet anomaly, close AM reverse, double die obverse, repunch mint mark, die clash, die crack, an off-center strike remains unmatched, and its flawless state of preservation pushes it beyond mere error coin and into the realm of iconic historical artifact. And what makes this story even more thrilling is that for years, this coin sat hidden, unrecognized, its astronomical value completely unknown to the person who first found it, until a moment of curiosity led to its authentication and eventual auction, turning a single penny into a multi-million-dollar fortune. And this transformative discovery is what fuels the passion of numismatists and the hopes of everyday collectors who know that lightning can strike in the unlikeliest of places. And the story of the 1992 D 1 cent coin worth $79 million serves as a powerful reminder that the rarest treasures are sometimes hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with patience, knowledge, and a bit of luck to uncover them. And as this coin continues to inspire educate, and captivate, it will remain a lasting symbol of how even the most common coin can rise to unimaginable heights when shaped by error, preserved by fate, and recognized for the masterpiece it is.